Alright. Songs can have a plethora of meanings, but none has piqued my curiosity as much as Hotel California by the Eagles. I've dropped a theory on the song The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and I'll link the video here and in the description. And now we're doing another. Also, before we get into the song, make sure to like and subscribe and go check out the Twitter account for updates and memes. Alright. Hotel California can be interpreted in many different ways. Some people think the song is about drugs and addiction, based on the lyrics mentioning colitis, a slang for cannabis. The line, "This could be heaven or this could be hell," could refer to the protagonist's uneasiness to dip into this lifestyle. He has a good first time, but experiences some sort of bad trip, and the final line, "You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave," could mean that you can stop smoking now, but with an addiction, you can't easily just walk away. You'll always be called back until you can eventually overcome the addiction. Other people think the song is an allegory for the high life of Los Angeles, basically swapping out this metaphor for the drug metaphor. Talking about a woman whose mind is Tiffany twisted and she got the Mercedes-Benz can refer to the high life, as the term Tiffany twisted means a mind twisted or intertwined with materialism and status. Just about everyone living the high life can easily fall into this trap of fame and fortune, especially in LA, and it certainly isn't easy to give this lifestyle up and walk away. There's a theory that this song is not just about drugs, but about rehabilitation from drugs, attempting to walk away, and that the protagonist is in a mental hospital. The line, "We haven't had that spirit here since 1969, in response to the protagonist ordering wine, could refer to how in 1969 it was no longer legal to drink while you were in a drug rehab program. Apparently there's also a theory that this song is about a toxic relationship and how it is difficult to leave such a relationship. The Eagles themselves have gone on record to state quite a bit otherwise, however. According to Wikipedia, they've described the song over the years as being, quote-unquote, a journey from innocence to experience, a socio-political statement, more of a symbolic piece about America in general. Lyrically, the song deals with traditional or classical themes of conflict, darkness and light, good and evil, youth and age, the spiritual versus the secular, loss of innocence. All about American decadence and burnout, too much money, corruption, drugs, and arrogance, too little humility and heart, hedonism, self-destruction, and greed in the music industry in the late 1970s. The high life in Los Angeles. It's not really about California, it's about America. It's about the dark underbelly of the American dream. It's about excess, it's about narcissism, it's about the music business, and it can have a million interpretations. Well, if the band themselves say that the song can have a million interpretations, I am going to weigh in my interpretation. You see, opening the door this wide for interpretations means that the simplest answer could be a viable option. So, I'm going to give a rundown of the song completely at face value. Here we go. You're driving along a highway somewhere in the southwestern United States. Your headlights illuminate the road ahead of you as the sun is almost set. There isn't another car in sight, which isn't out of the ordinary given the time of late evening and the location. You're still a few hours away from civilization. As you're enjoying the local radio station playing tunes from the 70s and taking in the scenery, you're in a state of comfortable bliss. You approach a building in the distance, which is strange since you're in the middle of the desert. But what's stranger is that, as the smell of cannabis wafts into your nose, you suddenly feel a wave of exhaustion wash over you. You think it's a bit weird that one moment you could drive for hours and the next you're struggling to keep your eyes open. But much to your luck, the building up ahead just so happens to be a hotel. After pondering for a second, you decide it would be wise to pull over and get a room for the night, as the alternative is risking falling asleep at the wheel or having to sleep in your car. You go inside, and the check-in process is quick and easy. After a little flirt with the staff, the woman behind the counter hooks you up with a deluxe suite, complete with a mirrored ceiling and a heart-shaped bed. Once all is settled, the woman at the front desk then lights a candle and motions you to follow her. The hotel is unusually dark, and in the silence of the hallway, apart from your footsteps, you think you can hear something. A whisper. Welcome to the hotel. As you try to listen to what the whisper is saying, you decide it's just in your head. There's nothing to worry about and you should relax. From what you can see in the courtyard, the other guests seem to be having a good time, dancing and smoking the night away. so clearly there's no danger.
Any time of year, you can find it here.
You set down your luggage, your guitar, and order some wine to your room. And you think it's odd when you're told people usually don't show that sort of spirit around here, despite everyone seemingly having a good time. Whatever. You're just staying the night, getting lucky with a woman, and then it's back on the road. Once you finish your wine and your other activities, you get some sleep. A few hours into your rest, though, you're awoken by more whispers. You're steadily feeling more and more creeped out, and yet you can't muster the strength to leave. Unable to go back to sleep, you and the woman next to you start to chat. She seems absent from the conversation, sometimes staring off in the distance as she tells you how she feels trapped but can't or won't elaborate further. She suddenly perks up and tells you that you two are late for the feast in the master's chamber. She throws you completely off guard, but you could go for some food. She leads you out of your room and into the chamber where the feast is to be held. To your utter shock and horror, some sort of hulking beast sits before you. The other guests are carving into the thing, but to no avail. This creature, this thing, is unlike anything you've ever seen before. Perhaps it's some sort of undiscovered species. Perhaps it's a government experiment of some sort. Perhaps it's Satan himself. You cannot even seem to comprehend what is before you. Your head starts to spin. You're overwhelmed by everything going on. The beast resisting death. The guests cutting into it, blood spewing everywhere. The whispers have started back up, this time louder than ever before, trying to convince you to stay. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, you are able to conjure up one word, one singular thought.
Run.
You take off running, trying desperately to find the way you came, but you can't seem to find it. It's almost as if the hotel itself is changing. You pass hallways you don't remember being there. You decide to leave your stuff behind and just get out. It's not worth it. But even the front desk is almost impossible to find. Eventually, though, you do find the front desk. The nightman at the front desk attempts to calm you down. He reassures you that you can check out anytime you like and it's no bother. Feeling relief, you take a deep breath, turn around, and find that the front door is not where it should be. Full of confusion, you turn back to the nightman as he tells you that while you can check out anytime you like, you can never leave. You're left utterly stunned and terrified. After a while of contemplation, while the whispers help calm you down once more, you realize there is only one thing you really can do in this situation. You head back up the stairs and inexplicably find your room very easily, as if the building itself knows that it's won and it's reveling in your disdain. You walk into your room, open your guitar case, and proceed to play. And scene. So here we have a situation where the protagonist is being lured into a place and made to feel safe, but over time the curtain is dropped, the rose-tinted glasses fall off his face, and he sees the horrors that lurk beneath the surface. He then attempts to leave, but he cannot find the exit. Does that sound familiar? I think the Hotel California is an Americanized instance of SCP-3008, the Infinite Ikea. For those that don't know, the SCP Foundation stands for Secure, Contain, and Protect. The note from the administrator on the About Us page of their website states, quote-unquote, "Mankind, in its present state, has been around for 250,000 years, yet only a small fraction of that has been of any significance. So what did we do for nearly 250,000 years? We huddled in caves and around small fires, fearful of the things that we didn't understand. It was more than explaining why the sun came up. It was the mystery of enormous birds with heads of men and rocks that came to life. So we called them gods and demons, begged them to spare us, and prayed for salvation. In time, their numbers dwindled and ours rose. The world began to make more sense, and there were fewer things to fear. Yet the unexplained can never truly go away, as if the universe demands the absurd and impossible. Mankind must not go back to hiding in fear. No one else will protect us, and we must stand up for ourselves. While the rest of mankind dwells in the light, we must stand in the darkness to fight it, contain it, and shield it from the eyes of the public, so that others may live in a sane and normal world. We secure, we contain, we protect." Basically, it's an organization founded around the capture and containment of supernatural creatures that could pose a threat to humanity. They lurk in the shadows, doing what most of us could not handle mentally. Is this organization actually real, or is this just an internet thing? We average people may never know. If anyone from the organization is watching, though, I am willing to submit an application. Anyway, there are many, many, many SCP creatures archived on this website, the wiki page, and even YouTube itself. I can cover them in more detail if y'all want, just let me know in the comments below. But today, we're covering the Infinite Ikea. According to the wiki page, here's the description. SCP-3008 is a large retail unit previously owned by and branded as Ikea, a popular furniture retail chain. A person entering SCP-3008 through the main entrance and then passing out of sight of the doors will find themselves translocated to SCP-3008-1. This displacement will typically go unnoticed as no change will occur from the perspective of the victim. They will generally not become aware until they try to return to the entrance. SCP-3008-1 is a space resembling the inside of an IKEA furniture store, expanding far beyond the limits of what could physically be contained within the dimensions of the retail unit. Current measurements indicate an area of at least 10 kilometers squared, with no visible external terminators detected in any direction. Inconclusive results from the use of laser rangefinders has led to the speculation that the space may be infinite. SCP-3008-1 is inhabited by an unknown number of civilians trapped within prior to containment. Gathered data suggests they have formed a rudimentary civilization within SCP-3008-1, including the construction of settlements and fortifications for the purpose of defending against SCP-3008-2. SCP-3008-2 are humanoid entities that exist within SCP-3008-1. While superficially resembling humans, they possess exaggerated and inconsistent bodily proportions, often described as being too short or too tall. They possess no facial features, and in all observed cases wear a yellow shirt and blue trousers consistent with the IKEA employee uniform. SCP-3008-1 has a rudimentary day-night cycle determined by the overhead lighting within the space activating and deactivating at times, consistent with the opening and closing times of the original retail store. During the quote-unquote night instances, SCP-3008-2 will become violent towards all other life forms within SCP-3008-1. During these bouts of violence, they have been heard to vocalize phrases in English that are typically variations of, "The store is now closed, please exit the building." Once quote-unquote day begins, SCP-3008-2 instances immediately become passive and begin moving throughout SCP-3008-1, seemingly at random. They are unresponsive to questioning or other verbal cues in this state, though will react violently if attacked. SCP-3008-1 is known to have one or more exits located within, though these exits do not appear to have a fixed position, making it difficult to leave SCP-3008-1 once inside. Using any other door besides the main entrance to enter the structure or breaking through the walls of the retail unit leads to the non-anomalous interior of the original store. Since containment began, 14 individuals have managed to escape SCP-3008. So with the Infinite Ikea, we have a situation where people are lured inside and are trapped once inside. There are dangers inside the building that are so uncanny and dangerous that once night falls, the survivors have to either barricade themselves in makeshift forts or attempt to kill the creatures, seemingly to no avail, with little to no hope of escape. And with the Hotel California, we have a situation where people are lured inside and are trapped once inside. There are dangers inside the building that are so uncanny and dangerous that once night falls, the survivors have to either barricade themselves in makeshift forts or attempt to kill the creatures, seemingly to no avail, with little to no hope of escape. I think they're the same thing. I think the Infinite Ikea is not the only one of its kind, and that the Hotel California is another instance that has disguised itself as a hotel in the middle of nowhere, luring in wary passersby. Sweden may have the Infinite Ikea, but we have the Hotel California. But leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.